me see. Only 28. Good. No problem. So what we have done in the last class, so let me recap very quickly. Okay. Although it's not necessary, but still. So we are doing force vibration, right? Force vibration of a single degree of freedom system and damped system we are considering, because there will be damping in the practical system, whatever low amount it is, but it will be there in the real system. Okay. So basically we are trying to solve this equation mx dot plus cx dot plus kx equals to ft. There is some force, and that force we consider as an harmonically varying, that is f naught cosine omega t, right? Okay. So it's a cost function, and f naught is the amplitude of the forcing function, right? It is basically constant here, and omega is for the forcing frequency. Okay. Forcing frequency. The system has natural frequency, that is omega n, which is nothing but root over k by m, which is related to the damped frequency omega d, which omega n root over of 1 minus zeta square, where zeta is the damping ratio, which can be represented as c equals to 2m omega n into zeta, right? That you already know this, all these relationships. Okay. So this is the forcing frequency. And also we define another term r, that is the frequency ratio, that is the omega by omega n. This is called the frequency ratio. Correct? And we have seen that it has a two part of the solution. The total solution is basically complementary solution, and another part is the particular solution. Okay. So this is the homogeneous part of the solution, and this is the non-homogeneous part of the solution. Non-homogeneous part is due to this forcing function, and with this we have already derived in I think during the free vibration classes. So that is nothing but zeta omega n t. So this is exponentially decaying part. Some what is that, c1 cosine omega dt plus c2 sine omega dt, right? So which will gradually dies down due to the damping present in the system. So that's why we are not interested on the transient part, we are more interested on the steady state part. Okay. So that can be again obtained using as we discussed in the last class, by harmonic solution, and then substitute to this equation, and by equating the coefficients we can find out, and I asked you to in this form write this particular solution in x cosine some omega t minus phi. Okay. Obviously this particular solution will be the frequency of the particular solution will be that forcing frequency. Okay. And here it is the damped natural frequency, omega t is the omega n root over 1 minus zeta square. So just forgetting about this thing, we can just concentrate on this particular solution xpt, that is x cos omega t minus phi. Remember, this omega is the forcing frequency, and phi is the phase difference, and x is the amplitude of the motion. Okay. So what x we obtain? X we can obtain, I hope we have done already. Okay. So this is pretty straightforward. So that is basically x is nothing but amplitude, right? Okay. So x is the delta st, that is the static displacement, divided by, for the undamped case we obtain, you remember, it is 1 minus by r square, right? Delta st by 1 minus r square. But here there will be damping. Okay. So it will be 1 minus r square whole square plus 2r zeta whole square. Okay. So this is the x, and phi is nothing but tan inverse. You just remember this, very simple. Without also opening the books or anything, you can just simply remember 2r zeta by 1 minus r square. Okay. If you are not able to obtain this, you please go to the the PPT I have uploaded, or you can refer any book. Okay. This is pretty straightforward, right? So have you gone through the PPT the last time that I sent? Okay. So let me open that PPT, maybe that will be. So just I will show you again quickly what is there. Okay. I hope you have gone through it, and because this is not much difficult, so I'm not further discussing, but still I'll just show here what is there. Okay. So let me this thing, and then just a minute. Okay. XPT. Yeah. This slide is visible, right? Okay. Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So yes, I told the main equation involves xt as well as x dot t, because the damped system, the response must contain not only the cosine omega t, but as well as sine omega t. Okay. Or in other words, in general, the response of a damped system is not in phase with the loading. Okay, so just this is the equation of motion, that is equation 9, right? So I am substituting equation 8 is the solution, right? That's the assumed solution, particular solution. So let xpt is the particular solution is this. Okay, so there, and so just I have substituted it, nothing else, and then I equating the component of the cos omega t and sin omega t. Okay, so I'll get c1 c2 as this. Okay, so put it back to here, that is the assumed solution. So I can write like this. Okay, then let us say this is a sin omega t, because I want to write this form, right? X cosine omega t minus. You can write x sin omega t minus, that doesn't matter. Okay, so I want to write basically in this form, okay, with amplitude and some phase difference. So if it is just a manipulation, mathematical manipulation, if I do it, I can write in this form. That is because, as I already told, we are interested in the particular solution, right? So x can be written as f naught by k, which is nothing but delta st. That is the static displacement divided by root over of 1 minus omega by omega, and that is r square whole square plus 2 r zeta. Okay, this is whole square. Okay, and phi is nothing but the same tan phi sin pi by cos phi. So from here you can get it r zeta divided by 1 minus. So this is just simple mathematical manipulation that you can do it by yourself. Okay. Now we'll see what this expression looks like when I plot it with respect to the damping and zeta. So that is the more interesting thing that I want to discuss now. Okay. So let me close this thing and again reshare the earlier one. Okay. Okay. So you are here, right? So basically x is delta st by root over 1 minus r square whole square plus 2 r zeta whole square, and phi is tan inverse 2 r zeta by 1 minus r square. Okay. So let us first concentrate on this x. Okay. So basically x is the amplitude, right? Because we defined, I think our what we have defined. We defined magnification factor, right? MF. Let us call it M. Just M is x divided by delta st. So that will be nothing but what? So if x is delta st by this, it will be 1 minus r square whole square plus 2 r zeta whole square whole to the power half, right? Okay. Am I right? Okay. And then where is the plot gone? Okay, I'll plot it later. So please remember what is the terminology. So zeta is the damping ratio and r is the again the forcing frequency by Nassau frequency. So that you have to remember. And delta S is the static displacement, that is F naught by K. F naught is the if the force you apply is the magnitude of the force. That means if you apply the force statically, and K is the stiffness of the system. Okay. Is it okay for all? If it is okay for all, then we'll see some figures, right? What is that figure I brought here? Yes. Okay, so now we are plotting the magnification factor. So that means the M I have written here, M or MF, whatever you call, it doesn't matter. So that is basically x by delta st. So x is what? Again I am repeating, x is the amplitude of the motion, right? Amplitude of the motion. That is xpt, particular solution, which is same as the xt, right? After some time, the transient motion will get dies down due to the damping present in the system, and the rest of the things will be steady state motion, right? Steady state motion, which is governed by the forcing function, right? So xpt is x cosine omega t minus phi. So x is the amplitude. So x divided by delta st I am defining as the magnification factor. Okay, fine. Okay, you see you can put if you put zeta 0 here, you can see you are recovering 1 by 1 minus r square, right? That is what we done for the undone system. But forget about it. We are not interested in that. Okay, so if I plot this magnification factor by r, so r I am writing here is omega by omega for your convenience. Okay. So you see what is happening there. So can you just tell me what observation you are getting from this figure? Just tell what observation. So obviously in design our aim is to reduce the magnification factor, right? It is magnification factor, let's say 5 or 6, you understood, right? So it will be on static displacement 5 times or 6 times. So the design will be complicated or the system may not be safe. So what observation from this figure is visible to you, right? Clearly. So just tell me what observation you are getting. Any observation, whether it is right, wrong, doesn't matter. Just tell.
So as the damping ratio is like getting towards 1, we can reduce the magnification factor.
As the damping ratio increases, what happened?
No, sir, as the damping ratio increases like towards 1, we can reduce the magnification factor.
We can reduce the
Magnification factor.
magnification. But that is everywhere not right. If
So
R,
at the particular point, sir, like r equal to omega by omega, like fixed point,
Yes, so
You can see that.
you are correct. So you are correct. Your observation is correct. So at or near the resonance, can I say it like that? At or near the resonance, the damping is very important, right? Effective damping is very important in reducing the dynamic amplification factor. Correct? Okay. As you can see, as R is greater than 1 or R is less than 1, that is the forcing frequency not near to the natural frequency, there the damping, effective damping is much less. It is there, it is still there, but it is less as compared to. So that is one observation. And when R equals to 0, that means what? So you are applying the force statically, right? R equals to 0 means there is omega is 0. Omega is 0 means there is no frequency of the excitation. Okay, so that means you are applying the force statically. So in that case, magnification factor is 1. What does that mean? That is static, right? So MAV is 1 means x equals to delta st, because magnification factor is x divided by delta st. So that is obvious. Okay. And as someone told, it is the damping is very highly effective at or near the resonance, and M nearly going down to 0 as R is very high, that is very high frequency excitation. So that you have observed by Newton. Now, few more insight into this thing we'll discuss. Okay, I mean, what parameter is affecting for some values of this ratio? Okay, R. So let us first consider R less than 1, very less. That means we are in this zone kind of, right? Less than 1. Okay, that means force is excitation force. I mean, very fast varying or slowly varying? Yes. If R is less than 1, the force excitation force means excitation force. I'm talking about external force that I'm applying. So that is very slow varying or fast varying?
Slow, sir.
Slow. Yeah, this frequency is less, right? As compared to omega, so it's very slowly varying, right? So it is like a static, very slowly varying means it's like a static, right? So in that case, again I have to write the expression here, or easy to understand. So x is what? I should write it here. X is delta st by root over of 1 minus r square whole square plus 2r zeta whole square. Correct? Okay. So now you see, if r is less than 1, tell me what is the approximation, just approximation of x. I am to write it in approximate. Assuming that my zeta damping is small, as in the most of the structural system. Okay. So can I write it? So you see, if r is less than 1, so you see this is a very negligible, and r square is further less, then zeta is as it is less, and r is again less than 1, so this also is very less as compared to this part. So I can just simply write x is nearly equals to delta st, which is nothing but f naught by k. So that means the system response is governed by the stiffness of the system. Okay, response is controlled or governed by the stiffness of the system. This is obvious point. Next, are greater than. Okay, that means force is rapidly varying, right? Very fast. Excitation force, because R is again repeating, R is omega by omega, and also you remember the magnification factor, or what is that? Amplitude. X is delta st by 1 minus r square whole square plus 2r zeta whole square. Okay, perfect. So if r is greater than 1, again what can be the approximation? Okay, so r is greater than 1, much greater than 1. So as compared to 1, this is more, and this may not be a very big factor, right? Because zeta is small is there, so this will be much more, because you see r square is there inside, right? So here it will be only r square coming r to the power 4, and then after, so I can write it as a, after taking the root over, it will be r square, right? So I can write delta st by r square, approximately, I am approximating obviously, by r square. Now r square by r square means I can write that is omega by omega n square by omega square. Is it correct or not? So then I can write delta st by f naught by k. So k is m omega n square, because I want to remove omega n square. Cancel out f naught by m omega bar square, omega square. Okay. Okay. In some book actually they used r as omega bar by omega. So sometimes I also got confused. But anyway, here we are using omega by omega. doesn't matter. Omega, they call omega bar as the forcing frequency and omega is the natural frequency. Here you are using omega as the forcing frequency and omega is the natural frequency. Okay. So in this case, the response is governed by the mass of the system. Okay. Please remember, this is approximation. Just to understand, to get an idea, I mean, what is there in the physical mass of the system. Next, R equal to 1. Obviously understood at R, from the figure also, at R equal to 1, which will be the governing. Even without any calculation. Yes?
Forcing frequency.
Not, we are dealing with the structure parameters. What the structure parameter is going to govern. Like for, we just done, right? R less than 1, response is controlled by the stiffness of the system. At R equal to,
Damping ratio.
yes, yeah, damping of the system. And R greater than 1, it is the mass. So the one parameter remaining, there is the damping, and from figure also you can see this thing, right? At R equal to 1 or nearly equals to 1, exactly equal to 1, I am not writing, or nearly equals to 1, that means when the forcing frequency is nearly close to the natural frequency. So in that case, X is nothing but what will be, so delta is T, right? R equals to 1, what will be happen? So this will be 0, 2 zeta square 1 by 2 zeta. Delta S T by 2 zeta. So it is obviously by damping ratio, or you can write in terms of C also, that is the coefficient of viscous damping. So F naught by K will be M omega N square 2 zeta. So that will be F naught by C omega N. So mainly the parameter that is damping zeta or the coefficient of viscous damping is effective, right? Okay. Now let us see some plots. This, yeah. So this is just time response, right? This is for the time response of the system. So there I am plotting displacement versus time, okay, or only for the 3 seconds, let's say. So you see at R equals to 1, right, the resonant condition, so it is the large amplitude oscillation. So at R equal to 0.5, so that is near to close to 1, so it is the amplitude is small, and also R is very high also, that is R equal to 2, so in that case also the amplitude of the motion is small. That is quite obvious from that plot also, right? That magnification factor versus frequency ratio. Okay, that this plot was. Okay. Okay, that's an interesting things we'll discuss now. Where it gone? Something happened. Oh, inside. What happened? New slides. So please read from some books. Okay, I'm trying to give the easiest way it is possible to get some idea. Okay, then if you are more interested, you please refer some books, and you will find this subject very interesting. Okay, little mathematical, but it's very interesting. Okay. By the way, just I want to ask you two things. One, have you done any courses in numerical methods or not?
Yes, sir.
Done?
In maths we have done.
No.
Last semester.
Civil, mechanical, whatever. So you have done any numerical method, right? So there you might have solved how to numerically solve differential equation, right? Ordinary differential equation like central difference method, Euler method, then Runge-Kutta method. You have heard about the Runge-Kutta method?
Yes, sir. Runge-Kutta method.
Yes. So little bit no, because I have seen in the syllabus that there is no topic related to numerical evaluation of response. You see what we are finding the responses, right? We are just solving the equation and finding the response, and then trying to see what is happening in the system. Okay, but you see the forcing function that we are considering is simple harmonic type, right? Always it will not be a harmonic type. Right? There can be random type, arbit type. Okay, so that is very difficult to. I mean, you will not get a closed form solution. That's all. It is impossible to get a closed form solution. Okay, so then what will you do? Then you have to do some numerical method to solve this differential equation. Okay. So that is what I want to emphasize it. But it is, I have seen it is not in the syllabus. You just check it again. If it is there, then I will just discuss a little bit. Otherwise, I will keep it for the end. If time permits and if you are interested, then I will little bit touch upon that. Okay. At least two or three methods like central difference method, and one is called that. What is that name? Newmark's beta method. Okay, so those type of things, one or two method, I'll just touch upon that, and also the Rangi-Kutta method you can use, but Rangi-Kutta method is used for what? First order differential equation or second order differential equation?
Both we can use.
Second order differential equation. I don't know. I think Rangi-Kutta method is for first order differential equation, right? Am I right or completely wrong? I mean, what you are trying to say? You are saying that you will convert the second order to first order or what?
Yes, a second order differential method like of Runge-Kutta method.
No, I am asking Rangi-Kutta method is applicable. Just let's say I have given this equation mx over. You want to solve this difference? It's a differential equation, right? M d2x by dt2 plus, forget about damping, k dx by dt is equal to some arbitrary forcing function is given there. So can you solve directly this equation using Rangi-Kutta RK4 method is called, right? Can you solve it directly? The second order differential.
Yes, sir. I think we can solve it.
You can solve it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you try to solve this equation. Okay. Just take some parameter. Okay. So 5 kg, 10 kg, whatever. Take some value of k, and this you just check. This sinusoidal. Just take some. Let's say 5 sine or cos, or doesn't matter. Omega. You choose some forcing function omega into just t, right? And numerically, just using this is a numerical method, obviously. So you solve it and see how your response is matching or whatever. You can add damping also, no problem. C into dx by dt, okay, and take some parameter, arbitrary parameter, okay, or you non-dimensionalized it, divided by m also you can do it, and plot the response and compare the response. Yeah, I will give you as a home task, okay, just do it, okay, you don't have to submit it, but just for your reference, and then solve it by a RK4 method, directly applying on this second order differential equation. Please remember, someone told I can do it, so you please apply it on this and compare the response. You understood what I am trying to say, right? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you have the closed form expression, right? I have discussed, or you can find it book or just open any book. You'll find out the total response. Xt is equal to complementary plus particular. Okay. So just there you put the values, and that is a closed form expression available, so that you can plot in MATLAB or Excel. And then you have done a numerical course, done Rangi-Kutta 4 method, apply to the second order differential equation as someone told. Okay. And then plot the response and just compare them. Okay. Fine. Okay. Then if you are more interested also, you can see there is a MATLAB direct command is available, okay. It's called ODE45. Okay. So ODE45. Why it is called 45? So it uses the actually adaptive Rangi-Kutta method, RK 45 is called 4/5 order or something it's called. So ODE45 command is there, so you can directly solve the you can not directly, you can solve the differential equation with this. So that also, if you are interested, you can do it. Okay. You just check it. Okay. Okay, so where we are, I just magnification factor, right? Yeah. So magnification factor M is what? 1 by root over 1 minus r square whole square plus 2r. So this is the magnification. Now our aim is to find out what is the maximum value of magnification factor, and at what value of the frequency ratio r this magnification factor will occur. Okay. Because we want where is the maximum and what is the value of maximum and for what condition it is occurring. That is our aim, right? So what to do to find out that?
Differentiation.
Alright, let's do that. Dm by dr, set it to 0. and find out at what R you are getting the maximum. Okay, so our aim is to, we want to find out at what value of R this aim is become maximum. Okay, so I'll call it as a R peak minimum. So whatever R from this setting dm by dr to 0, you'll get R peak, and then M max you can obtain also, or M peak, whatever you can say. So obviously from the graph you understood. Huh? What?
Plus or minus 2 into root of 1 minus zeta square, R equal.
R peak equals to what again? Can you tell me?
Plus or minus 2 into root of 1 minus zeta square.
2 into root over 1 minus zeta square.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else?
Sir, I'm getting root of 1 minus 2 zeta, sir.
This is take a calculation. No problem, that is fine. Root over 1 minus 2 zeta square. Differentiate it and take it to 0. I set it to 0, so you'll get this. Okay. So from the figure, I mean, from the figure, you can say that. Can you see it? I mean, you can say that the damping is very small, right? So it will be near 1, right? R equals to 1, it will occur. Okay. But if damping, you can see if the substantial damping is there, it is shifting towards the left. Can you see it from the figure? The peak is little bit shifting from the R equals to 1. So that is what it is. Okay. So you see if zeta is very small, it will be R peak is at 1, right? Okay. So if you substitute R peak here, what is the M max value? Tell me. So at R value root over 1 minus 2 zeta square, I'll get maximum value of M. Okay. M is, remember this M is magnification factor. Magnification factor or dynamic magnification factor, which is nothing but x by delta S. Okay. Yeah. So what is the M max? So best way to do it is take the square M square and then differentiate it. Okay. If M is maximum, the M square will also be maximum. So then you take the differentiation, it will be easier. Okay. Anyway, so that is just calculation. So you just differentiate it and set it to 0, you will get R peak as this. Okay. I hope other people are also getting the same result, right? Whatever 1 minus 2 zeta square. Now you substitute this here just and tell me what is M max. Because we find out, right? By setting dm by dr equals to 0, we obtain that the value of R at which the M will be maximum is root over 1 minus 2. So I have to substitute there, right, to get the M max. So what is that M max?
So 1 by eta into under root of
1 by
eta
zeta
into under root of
the root of
4 eta square
4 eta square
plus 2r.
plus
Oh, sorry, I didn't replaced r here.
Sir, 1 by 2 eta into root of 1 minus eta square.
this one.
Yes, sir.
So I can write this again the same way, right? Remember the relation omega d is equals to omega n root over 1 minus zeta square. Okay, so I can substitute 1 minus zeta square by omega d by omega n. So I can write 1 by 2 zeta and omega n by omega d. Right? This is a different way of writing this. Nothing. You can remember this much. That's it. Or you don't have to remember actually. You remember this also, or if you just try to remember this thing. The dynamic magnification factor H, that is x by delta st, is 1 by root over 1 minus r square whole square plus 2r zeta. So this is whole square actually, 2r zeta whole square. Okay. I think someone did mistake because I did not make it square. That's why. But you please remember that. Anyway. So what you got, you see, so as I told that damping is small, then omega n is nearly equals to omega d, and your mmax has become 1 by 2 zeta, correct? Okay. So that is actually apparent from here also. So at r equals to 1, right? So what the value of m at r equals to 1? 1 by 2 zeta, right? So that is what it is. Okay. So you see it is the 1 by 2 zeta. Okay. Is the damping ratio is more small, then you can write it like this. Okay. So then another thing is that, just I'll show the figure here. Okay. There is the phase angle, right? That we have not discussed. So the title should be actually phase angle versus frequency. Phase angle versus frequency. Okay. So you can see here. So I have plotted phi versus that r again. Okay. This is the phi here. You can see small written, and omega by omega n is the r. That's the frequency ratio. I think. Okay. So as you can see, as r equals to 1, that means the forcing frequency is equal to the natural frequency. Irrespective of the damping, the phase difference is 90 degrees. Okay, 90 degrees out of phase with the force. Okay, and if r is less than or in this zone, so you see the phi is nearly equals to 0, and it is completely at the out of phase as r is greater than 1. Okay, and for zeta equal to 0, that's when the system damping is not there. So you have seen, we remember, so there is a discontinuity in the magnification factor also, right? When the damping is not there at r equals to 1. So similarly here also for the phase difference also, so phi versus r plot has a discontinuity. You see, this is the zeta equal to 0 line. So it is going like this. And at r equal to 0, suddenly jump to the dotted line. I was showing the dotted line. So discontinuity, then again come to zeta equal to 0. But we are not interested again because zeta equal to 0 is not the practical case. Okay. So that is what I have written here, and these are the other parameters. Okay, so remember that phi is equals to tan inverse 2r zeta 1 minus r square. Correct? It's not required, I think. Anyway, so okay. Yeah, so what anything difficulties in finding the maximum? This we have discussed already. This we have discussed, right? Yeah, so maximum dm by dr equals to 0. If you are getting 1 minus 2 zeta square, then mx is this at r equal to 1. So peak doesn't, yeah. So remember that peak is exactly not occurring at r equals to 1, right? So it is less than some r equals to 1. You see, so this will be less than 1, right? So r peak will be less than 1, right? So that is what you again go back to the plots, and you see it here slightly from the 1, right? When there is a substantial amount of damping, but for low damping, so it is almost equals to 1. So that is, proved by here also, right? So an exact resonant condition, but it occurs at slightly lower than that value. Okay. So for typical values of the structural damping, say zeta less than 0.1, difference between equation 14 and 15 is very small. Okay. Now today's last topic will try to complete it. Let's see, this time is there, right? Okay. So you see, there are many aspects of it. So I am not discussing those things because it will take a lot of time first of all, and it will be too much syllabus for you. Okay. So as someone told, right, that instead of f naught cos omega t, the forcing function we are considering f naught cos omega t or f naught sin omega t. Anyway, sin cos doesn't matter. Okay. So instead of that, we can consider that f naught into e raised to I omega t or something like that, okay, in exponential form or complex form. So similarly in that case also you just assume the solution as f naught e raised to st something like that and just proceed ahead, we'll get the solution also, okay. So if you consider the real part, it will be cosine form and it will be imaginary part will be the sine form. So those things if you are interested you can see from the books, okay. I think in this PPT also some a little bit part is there, okay, and I will also introduce something in the next classes, okay, but that I am not elaborately explaining or deriving here, okay, that is the thing. Yeah. Also there is one more thing is that you can and just for sake of information I'm just saying that this equations, since it's a linear system, right, so you can conveniently handle this equations or solve this equation using Laplace transform, okay. Okay, but forget about that. Okay, so now tell me, so what method we have used to find out the damping ratio? Can you tell me what method we have used to find out the damping ratio? Zeta. What method you have used to find out the damping ratio? Yes, come on. If you have done one class back, I think one or two, and you have solved one problem also. What is the method name? Please read it. I am saying again and again, repeating. That you should remember right now. What is that method called? Or at least what is the formula you obtain? How we find out the damping ratio zeta? Zeta we obtain, right, from the experiment. What is the name terminology? Or what is the equation? Equation that I can write, what is that? Zeta is equal to,
that delta is equal to log of x.
what is that called? Zeta equal to 2 pi j ln x1 by xj plus 1. I hope it is correct, right? Am I right?
Yes, sir. So
Yeah.
2 pi won't come, sir.
Huh?
2 pi won't come, sir. Only 1 by j.
1 by j.
So no, so 2 pi will come, sir. 1 by 2 pi j.
Okay. Maybe I may forget because I'm not discussing that part because that is done already. Anyway, but that is similar type of formula you have seen. Some logarithmic is there. X1 is the amplitude, and then after j was j cycle, it is the xj plus 1, right? That is the amplitude. So that will measure experimentally, and then I can find the damping ratio as this. Okay, we have solved one problem also, right? Okay, and I still remember someone was talking about damp frequency or something like that. So that terminology is called the logarithmic decrement, right? Because the that we are finding from the how this is decaying. Okay, that decaying function e raised to minus zeta omega n t, right? Since logarithmic natural log is involved in this expression, we call this logarithmic decrement. Right? We remember you obtain delta. Delta is, you know, so then from that we find it. Okay. Now we'll learn one more method which is called the half power bandwidth. Why it is half power bandwidth, that will come later. Half power bandwidth. Okay. So what we do actually from the experiment, so actually from this experiment you can find out the natural frequency also, right? Okay. So what we'll do, so we'll just give some excitation frequency, right? From the Sekar actually, Sekar. So we'll give some excitation frequency ranging from starting from low frequency to just increasing, okay? So that is the force, R is nothing but forcing frequency by natural frequency, right? System natural frequency you do not know. We'll just increase the frequency from some very low value to high value, and we'll just plot this response amplitude or magnification factor also you can see, because x by delta s is nothing but the magnification factor. Okay, so you'll plot and get a plot like this. Okay, right? So as you are aware that the, so when you will see the when it is a peak, right? So that is at or near the system natural frequency, right? Because we have seen that at r equals to 1 or near by 1, some damping is there, but if damping is very less, very low, which is the case for our most of the structural system. So we can say at r equal to 1, let's say the resonance condition is happening. Okay, so you can just approximate that here here is the natural frequency, system natural frequency. Okay? So you basically plot this graph from the experiment. Okay, So then what we do in the half power bandwidth is that, so we find out, so now I have obtained this, right, from the graph, and we just come down by x max by root 2. Okay, x max by root 2 amplitude. So x max is the amplitude of the response, so that divided by root 2 come down. Okay. So there will be, we will find out two frequencies, right? So that will occur corresponding to two frequencies that I have written here, R1 by R2. So R1 is nothing but omega 1 by omega n, and R2 is equals to omega 2 by omega n. Okay. So this is one forcing frequency, this is another forcing frequency. Remember that. So x axis we are plotting R. That means you see system natural frequency you are not changing, right? System is there. We are just so in experiment we are just there is a seeker, right? Seeker will be there. Okay. So in the seeker I am just changing the forcing frequency. Okay, and then I am plotting this graph that is forcing frequency versus this amplitude of the motion. Okay, that is the x. Okay, so from that plot I can find out x max, right? I'll get plot like this, so I can measure the x max. So then x max by root 2 I can come down to this plot, and I'll see what are the values of the R1 and R2. Okay, omega 1 and omega 2. Okay, so my aim is to find out this omega 1 and omega. And once I got this omega 1 and omega 2, I can obtain the zeta value from this expression. Now, how I am getting this expression, that we will discuss. Okay, so let's see we obtain. So next time coming back. So this R2 minus R1 is called 2 zeta. Okay, or zeta is equals to, I can write omega 2 minus omega 1 by 2 omega n. Is it correct? So you can find out natural frequency of the system from some any other experiment also. Okay, so from static system also you can find out static measurement from, you can find out omega n, and also from this experiment also, if your system is lightly damped, then you know that this my peak will occur exactly at the if very low damping is there, so the peak will occur at the resonant frequency. Okay, so corresponding values of R will give you the natural frequency of the system, right? Which is same as at forcing frequency also for this one value. And then you come down x max by root 2, and then find out R1 and R2 from the plot. Okay, which plot is obtained from the experiment, and then just put this in the equation. That's it. This R2 minus R1. So this actually is called the bandwidth. This is called the bandwidth. Okay. So R2 minus R1 is 2 zeta. So as I have defined, R1 is omega 1 by omega n, R2 is omega 2 by omega n. So this is two different natural frequency, sorry, forcing frequency. Omega n is the natural frequency. So from this expression I can find out the damping ratio. Okay? So these value and this value are obtained from this graph, which is obtained from experiment, and this is the natural frequency, and I can find out the damping ratio. So this is another way of finding the damping ratio. This method is called the half power bandwidth. Okay. Again, why half power? That some clarification is there. In detail, if you can see in the Claffen-Penzian book. But anyway, but first of all, you have to find out why this expression is coming. R2 minus R1 equals to 2 zeta, right? That you have to put. So what is that? So R1 or R2 are basically omega 1 and omega 2 value, right? So that is two values of forcing frequency, right? Okay. And at that forcing frequency, what is the amplitude? That is x max by root 2, correct? Right? So I can write like this, I can equate that. Okay. So now tell me, what is the value of your magnification factor at maximum magnification factor? What is the maximum magnification factor expression we just obtained? Can you tell me? Anybody written in his notebook? I have to go back there. What is the maximum magnification factor you obtain? M max. I remember
1 by 2 zeta
by
2 1 minus zeta.
over 1 minus zeta. Is it right? No. Yeah, this one, right?
Right, sir. Right.
Right. Okay. So this is the what value? Here, right? This is the maximum. If I plot this in a, because x by delta st is magnification factor. Let's scale down basically. Or you can write in the numerator delta st, doesn't matter. Okay. Let us write delta st. So this is basically the x max value. Okay. At what? This is the maximum value, right? Maximum value. So I want 1 by root 2 times this, right? And I want to see for what value of R this is happening. This is my target, right? So what is the expression for magnification factor? The general expression is 1 minus R square whole square plus 2 R zeta. So I just equate it. Okay, this is my expression, general expression for x max, right? So x max is delta st divided by this. I'm sorry, I mean x by delta st this, right? So I can say instead of R, I should write it more specifically. It should be, let's say, R star. So I'll get a two value of R star basically, right? Correct? One R star will be your R1, and another R star will be R2, which is nothing but omega 1 by omega and omega 2 by omega. This is just simple mathematics. Okay. So this is what, this is the x by delta st is 1 by root over 1 minus r square plus 2 r zeta whole square, right? That I already do. Okay. So that's, I'm just equating that x max, okay, equals to, that's why I'm defining as r star, right? So at what r value this is equal to the maximum value 1 by root 2, correct? Because you want to come down by 1 by root 2. Okay, this is the maximum value that you already obtained, right? Delta st by this, delta st is cancel out. Okay, now you have to take the square, simplify it, neglect the higher order value of zeta. Okay, that is the zeta square, zeta raised to 4, all those neglect, small time. And tell me what expression, first you will get a quadratic expression, right? That is in quadratic in r square, that is you will get some r to the power 4. So tell me what is the r to the power 4 expression we are getting. Anybody has difficulty in understanding why I have written and from which basis I have written this expression?
Sir, just a small doubt, sir.
Yes.
Sir, like from maximum point you are coming below like the value, or like the y coordinate is x by root 2 times.
What coming down means, yeah, I mean, why root 2, if you divide it will come down, right? It will not go up, right? It's scaling, that's scaling. I'm scaled down by 1 by root 2, right? Understood?
Okay, sir. Then the value of y coordinate should be x max times 1 minus 1 by root 2, no, sir? Like
X max
into 1 minus 1 by root 2, isn't that? Because you're coming from the top to bottom by x max by root 2 times. So the
no,
y coordinate should be
not coming down.
x max times.
Not, I am saying coming down, I am using, okay, so that may be what I am saying, maybe you are understanding in a different manner. I am saying I am scaling down, actually scaling down by other, so that it will obviously come down, that's why I am saying. I am saying it is
Okay,
a
sir.
fact.
You're
You understood it?
okay. So you're
Let's
like,
say x max is 500, okay, so I want to by a factor of 4 I am come down, okay, so just divided by 4.
okay, sir.
Yes, coming down I am saying, since it is going down, that's all. But it
Okay.
should, yeah, correctly speaking, it should be I am scaling down, right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So this expression is okay. So this is the general expression for that x max, that is the delta st divided by amplitude, right? 1 by 1 minus r square whole square plus 2 r zeta, where r is the frequency ratio, forcing frequency one acyclic ratio. Now I want to say for what value of r, let's say that is r star, okay, that's r star. So that's r star. So my this value, this becomes 1 by 2 times the maximum. So this is, this circle quantity is basically m max that you just defined, I think. 1 by 2 zeta root over 1 minus zeta square, correct? So that 1 by root 2 times. So what, for what r star value? So we'll get 2 r star value, right? And then once we got r1 r2, so zeta will be, we can find it. Yeah, so what is the fourth order equation? I think we are running out of time. Let's do it quickly, please.
And r path 4 plus r square into 4 zeta square minus 2
Plus 4 zeta square minus 2
plus 1 plus 1 plus 8 zeta power 4 minus 8 zeta square.
8 zeta square equal to 0, right? Okay, so fourth order differential equation, so from you find out r square. What is r square? Yeah, actually R star. Also. Ideally speaking, R star.
So 1 minus 2 zeta square plus or minus 2 2 zeta into root of 1 minus zeta square.
One more. Very good. Structural system. Zeta is small. Neglect this, neglect this. So I can write it 1 plus minus 2 zeta. Okay? Short slide. What you got? R square is equals to 1 plus minus 2 zeta. Again approximation. So it will be half of that, right? So that is 1 plus minus 2 zeta half. Again this is R star or whatever it is. So you'll get again approximating it. Okay. So I mean this I can write it 1 plus minus zeta. Right? We get Taylor series expansion first term. Okay. Okay. So that means R1 will be 1 plus zeta. R1, which one I defined as R1? R1 is on the lower side, right? R2 is greater than R1. I have defined like that. You can define. So this will be R2. R1 equal to 1 minus zeta. Correct? So what is R2 minus R1? 2 zeta. What is zeta? R2 minus R1 by 2. Correct? Now R2 minus R1 equals to omega 2 by 2 omega n. Correct? Got it? That is what you have written, right? So finally what you have got is zeta is equals to R2 minus R1 by 2 omega 2 minus omega 1 by 2 omega n. So omega is 2 for f, right? F. F2 minus F1 by 2 Fn. Any doubt here?
No, sir.
F is the frequency is in hertz, right? Omega equals to 2 pi f. If you substitute there, I can write it in hertz form also. Okay, so if I obtain R1 and R2, that means 2 point, okay, in the x-axis from the experiment, then I just put it in the expression and I will find out the zeta values, okay. And how it is getting that through the experiment, I mean approximation, we can got it. Okay. If you do not want to approximate, so you just solve these equations and just take those values and numerically. Okay, so I'll stop it here. So the next class that will be next week Monday. So we'll discuss more interesting thing about that. That is the force transmission. How the force will be transmitted from the foundation, or if let's say a machine is vibrating, from the machine vibration to the force will be transmitted to the ground, and how much it is, and what factor, how the damping and frequency is again affecting those parameters that will be discussed. Okay. So please read whatever I have discussed from the books. Any book it is available. Okay. More than what I taught in more detail it will be available. But this is good enough for you at the elementary level. Okay. And try to solve some problem. We'll again solve some problem in the next or next to next class. Okay. Okay. If you have any doubt in understanding anything, then you can contact me also. No problem. Okay. Thank you for your attention.